Thoughts, the Cars Podcast. The Panorama's #1 source for news, reviews, and thoughts about the new wave rock legends, the Cars. Oh, and a little bit of Steel Wool, Sunshine, and Rainbows.
Welcome to Night Thoughts, the Cars Podcast, episode 35. This episode, we're talking about Dave Juskow's Turbocharge, the unauthorized story of the Cars.
Woo!
I'm Dave. I breed Rick Flies. And joining me is Miss June 1989 from Huckleberry Magazine, Sunshine and Rainbows, Donna.
Wow. Miss June.
The secret's out. Sweet purple June. June 1989.
See,
Full centerfold, Huckleberry Magazine.
Wow.
There's no nudity, folks. It's just her holding huckleberries.
Okay, good. That made me a little nervous. Yeah. Hi. Hey, everybody.
It made you nervous.
So, it's like, where are you going with this, Dave?
So it occurred to me this morning that I've adopted this ritual before podcasting. Now, I don't know. Some might call it, being anal retentive, getting my ducks in a row. I just need things to be a certain way.
Okay.
So, like, first and foremost, I have to be wearing a car shirt. Doesn't have to be a Night Thoughts shirt, but a car shirt.
Yes. Agree.
Cannot pod without it. I have to have something to wet my whistle.
Agree. Yes.
Usually a Diet Dew.
Oh.
I have to have my phone at the ready so I can, send you messages while we're podcasting to make you giggle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And show notes. Got to have the show notes up. Believe it or not, people, we use show notes. So we can do the right thing. And then finally, I always do the spastic ocasic, the little dance that Rick does on Shooby-Doo on that show Fridays before every podcast. So
you
now it's
do?
No, I don't.
I was like, what the heck?
Thought I'd add that in there. All right.
Wow.
All right, let's get straight to the business because we have an exciting show.
We do.
Lots
we have
of good
so
stuff.
much to cover. I'm so excited.
All right. So 3 ways to get us: iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. Follow us, subscribe to us, leave a review on iTunes. That helps us. We're also on Tumblr now, Donna.
Ugh.
With all the tumble bots. Yeah, that is a weird place, that Tumblr. But, we want to spread the word.
We do.
You can find us at thecarspodcast.tumblr.com. And, of course, follow us on Facebook on our Night Thoughts page, bit.do/FB Night Thoughts. And on Twitter. You're interrupting me, Donna.
Mm-mm.
Why are you interrupting me?
Go ahead.
No, say it now.
Well, I was going to ask you. Oh, okay. So now I know that you do different things on Facebook than you do on Twitter. So people, if you're not following us on Facebook and Twitter, you should, because you're missing out one way or the other. So what's Tumblr going to be then? Is it?
Tumblr, I'm just posting episodes.
Okay. Good. Because I don't really go to Tumblr and I don't want to miss anything.
Well, there's some Tumblr folks, so I thought, we get those in.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and there's things on Twitter on @thecarspodcast that I might post that you might not see either. So follow the Cars Podcast. I'm trying to get people to follow.
Yes.
I think we got like 50 followers, something like that, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's a slow build.
Well, and like you said, people are used to going to you or to me mostly you for this kind of stuff. So
yeah.
All
right, and you can get a podcast T-shirt at bit.do/Night Thoughts merch.
Nice.
So there we go. Got the business out of the way. Let's get to some news.
Well, I've got one little piece of business I want to add, and I know we're going to. I'm trying not to come around through the back door on this, but there's
Wait, we don't. What kind of audience do you think we have?
Stop. There's a gentleman named Eric Green who actually is relevant to the topic that we're talking about today. But he is the writer and director of a documentary called V66. It's Life on the V, and it's about a Boston music television channel from the mid-'80s. And he's a great guy, and I wrote a review of his DVD, and it's really great. And he is actually going to be at the Coolidge Corner Theater in Brookline, Massachusetts on August 7th, doing a Q&A session and showing his V66 documentary at 7 p.m. So if you guys are interested in that, I wish I could go to it. It would be very cool. Look it up, V66 documentary.
All right, fantastic.
Shout out.
As far as news goes, Donna, do you have any Or book updates for us?
I do. I do have an Orr book update. So Joe Milliken's book, Let's Go, Benjamin Orr and the Cars, is due out November 11th. We just got proofs back from the publisher of the manuscript of what the book's going to look like, and so we're going through that this week and making any corrections and changes. Very exciting.
So how does my picture look in that?
No comment.
No comment? You can't even share?
Nope.
How does the chapter about our podcast read?
Well,
is it a good read? Is it a short chapter?
It's very, very short.
Very short.
Very short. So short as to be invisible.
Wow. So our podcast has to be inferred in this book.
Yes. Yes. If there are blank pages in the book, you need to get like your lemon juice and your toothpick and rub it on there, and then put it over a light bulb to try to see if you can get the invisible ink will show up.
Awesome.
So that's how you'll find out about that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we did find out that if you pre-order your book from Roman Publishing specifically, you will likely get your book a little bit earlier than you would if you ordered it from Amazon, because Roman will ship out your orders at the same time they ship the books to Amazon. So,
wow, yeah. Fantastic. So, I'm planning on reading this book to my grandchildren.
Please do.
Okay, girls, gather round. Chapter 1. Little story about Benny. Why is there no pictures, Papa? Don't worry about it.
Oh, there's pictures, let me tell you. Awesome. There are pictures.
All right.
Sorry. So yes, I'm very excited. So if you haven't ordered, people, pre-order. Countdown is on.
So my news is, I took a little mini vacay.
Yes.
With my wife. We went northeast. Went to Niagara Falls, in New York, and boy, what a tourist trap that place is. But very cool. It's one of those things you have to see. It's like the Grand Canyon.
Right.
We did the Grand Canyon last year. I was in awe. Niagara Falls, I was in awe. But the funny thing is, they do this thing called the Maid of the Mist, and it's this boat, all right, that they pack people on or whatever, and they give you ponchos to wear so you don't get totally freaking wet.
Okay.
And there was a point where you're walking down a hill, and you can see the lines of people, and you see this line of people going up to this big shed. And then on the other end of the shed are people coming out in these blue ponchos. And it was like the Sneetches, Yeah, it was like the Sneetches, man. I wish I would have taken a picture. I didn't think of it, but I just commented to my wife, man, that's the Sneetches going on there.
That's awesome.
No shit. Hey, we did the Rock Hall on Friday, which was fantastic.
Yes.
Big shout out to Rock Hall Robin.
Yeah.
Robin, we love you. She made my visit very, very special. She totally rocks.
Yay.
And I hope she enjoys her sweet car swag.
Man, you gave her quite a haul, too.
I gave her a haul.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if you're going to pack stuff, pack it.
I know. Well, and hey, if it's Rock Hall Robin, pack it more.
That's right. So you people, you go to the Rock Hall, ask for Rock Hall Robin. Tell them Night Thought sent you.
Nice.
Say hello to her. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
sweetie pie. Tell me, I'm dying.
All right, here we go. Oh. I was able to attend this program on the day I was there called Album Spotlight.
Okay.
Live at the Agora. And, basically it was them playing the Live at the Agora album that Rhino put out.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. We waited outside probably about 15 minutes before it started. and my wife and I went in, and I'm wearing my Night Thoughts T-shirt that day, and so we walk into Foster Theater, and halfway down the aisle, I hear, "Are you the podcast people?" And I, yeah, oh yeah. Well, Robin said you were coming. Oh, cool. Well, I met Springsteen Bruce, and that's not his real name. Bruce loves Springsteen, so I'll call him Springsteen Bruce.
Okay.
Which is kind of clever, isn't it?
Very.
And he's the top guy in like education at the Rock Hall.
Okay.
So, we had a nice chat before the presentation about the podcast and so forth. And he was like a little nervous about me being there. I'm just thinking, dude, no need to be nervous with me. Come on. But, so we, I got to know him, got his card and so forth. And a big shout out to Springsteen Bruce for helping my wife find her phone, because like one song into the album, she's like, "Where's my phone?"
Oh no.
I don't know. Well, I left it on the bench outside, and she went out there and unbeknownst to me, because I sat there and continued to enjoy the car's goodness.
I knew you
I wasn't going to go with her. But I was worried, but unbeknownst to me, Springsteen Bruce, she ran into him and he got her set up and got her down to security or called down to security for her, and they had her phone and she got to go down and get it. So thank you, Bruce.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for stepping in where someone should have been there helping her.
Yeah. So I take it was my fault. I was in a rush to get in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Springsteen Bruce opened the doors. I was in.
Did he think that Chris was me?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did at first, which is interesting, because you have to understand this is something that my wife was doing for me.
Yes. Yes.
Very much in the same way that I endure endless shows on HGTV about house swapping.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so we went in, and it was not well attended, and I don't know if it was just the day or if people weren't aware of it. But at one point, I think the most people that were in there at any point was about 15. And I turned around to look when Take What You Want came on, and there was 5. Now, the beauty of that is that it was like my own private screening.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But what happened was that Springsteen Bruce started up his presentation, thanked people for being there. I think he showed the introduction video, or not the introduction, induction video. That they showed, during that. Yeah. And then he covered like a brief history of the cars, talked about the history of the show, that it was on July 17th, 78, and tickets cost $1.
Oh my gosh.
That blew me away. And he mentioned this. I think it's something you might be interested in when you return in November. He said that they have all kinds of behind-the-scenes pictures that you can request to see at the Rock Hall, that they don't have them out, but there's some kind of process if you put a request in that you can, look at these pictures. And he flashed like a collage of them or something up on the screen, but of course, I couldn't take pictures or do video or whatever. Yeah. So I couldn't take a picture, which I really, really wanted to.
Yeah.
And then the other thing he talked about was that the master tapes for this concert were found in the basement of the Agora. And I had brought up to him after the show, hey, this has been like a bootleg for forever.
Yeah.
So those weren't from the master tapes. He said, no, that's like a combination of like snippets, and somebody recorded it off the radio because they played it on the radio when it was initially done.
Right. Wow.
So how cool is that album that we got from Rhino is from the master tapes and not just a bootleg that they took and beefed up or whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And so he ended his talk before he started up with a review for the show, which here, I'm going to let you read this. I'm going to send this to you.
Okay.
He flashes this review up on the screen. Okay, I just sent it to you.
Okay.
And go ahead and read that for me.
You
And
sent
read
it
it
to
with
me.
expression, Donna.
You sent it to me in Messenger.
Yeah.
It's for me!
It is you!
Dave!
Talk about a holy shit moment. I was like, I'm going to Chris. That.
Dave, I can't believe it!
Can you believe it? I mean, man, it's incredible. So since you can't breathe right now, I'll read it.
Dave,
So he
no,
flashes
just
this up here. Oh, do you want to read it?
I'm stunned.
That's why I should read it.
Holy shit!
Breathe into a brown bag, and then I'll read. See, he said that they couldn't find any reviews in the paper at the time, but he said he did find this review online. Boom, he flashes it up there. So, and then what happened was that during the point in time he started the album, he was bringing around side 4 for people to see the etching, and I said, dude, that's what you just flashed up there. That was Donna from the podcast. My Donna. I go, you got to let me take a picture of that when this is all over. And he said, yeah, you can do that. So I was like, awesome. Thank you, Springsteen Bruce. So that's how I got that picture.
I have tears in my eyes. You have no idea how much it means to me to have my writing displayed at the Rock Hall.
To 15 people.
I don't care.
But I mean, yeah, it's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
So,
okay, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Well, Donna Neal said, while some critics and concert goers have been known to whine and fuss about the Cars not being a dynamic live act, no one can deny that when it came to the music, this band could recreate the remarkable studio sound flawlessly from the stage. Donna Neal, Standing Room Only, 10/27/17.
That's my writing. Dave, that's my writing.
Yep. And so, I'm talking to, Bruce about the podcast, and there you are up on screen. So I thought that was pretty cool to take a picture in the theater. So more about this show while you dehyperventilate.
Yes, I will be quiet. Go ahead. Dave, that's the Foster Theater. That's where Ben's memorial service was held.
Oh, really?
Yes. You have no idea the BS crazy connections that are going on in my mind right now. I'm stunned. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm done. I'm quiet. Go.
Did I mention that Springsteen Bruce had like this voice in his head that morning saying, here's one that you need to put. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't. I can't believe it.
He had this about Betsy at the Agora Theater the night before.
Stop.
And anyway, so he said they usually play, digital copies during these events, and they thought they were going to have to go that route with this album because it was like what 5,000 copies were
5,000, yes.
Yeah, and they couldn't get one, but he said something finally came through for them. So it was pretty awesome that they had a turntable. You can see in that picture, with the big large case there, whatever. That's a turntable sitting on top of there. So he just played it, and some people are real purists and love that crackle and snap of an LP when you put the needle down.
Yeah.
So imagine that with this ultimate sound system that they had. I mean, it was just incredible.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Bye Bye Love kicked my ass. It was incredible. I mean, the bass and the drums just, beating down on you. And the only way I can describe it is, it was a concert experience listening to that album in that setting.
Wow.
Even with my wife gone.
Yeah, you were real worried about her, weren't you?
Yeah, it was really I just closed my eyes, and it was like being at a concert. The sound level and the just everything. It was a dark theater, comfy seat. At the time that my wife joined me again, I looked over at one point. She's going through work emails, while this is going on. Checking her
Totally tuned out.
Facebook,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I really appreciated her doing this with me. And and when it was over, so he was like, I mean, he would like do a side and then he'd say, now we're going to flip the side. And, people would clap and stuff
Oh.
like that. And after he got done the end of it, I said, honey, wasn't that awesome? I go, I just can't wait for sides 4, 5, and 6.
She's like,
Give me this look like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was like my own private concert. And, very cool. Very cool. And so here's the kicker on this. So after the album finished, and Bruce was talking to like the 5 people that were left or whatever, he thanked me, like called me out, and we have people. I can't remember if he said my name or people from the Night Thoughts podcast, and
nice.
I said Dave from the longest running podcast about the Cars. And to which I turned around to the 5 people and said, because we're the only one. So, but we got a nice shout out there. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
Very, very awesome. It was the highlight of the vacay, obviously. Man, was I wired for sound after I came out of that the rest of the day.
I bet you were just high on that the whole rest of the day. Wow.
Just incredible. And all over, I thanked my wife. I said, honey, thank you. This is my twilight. Because I went to those movies too,
Yeah.
This is my twilight. I appreciate it. And it was only an hour.
Still. I can't imagine listening to that audio in that setting. That had to just been, just like you said, so incredible. I'm so glad you got to do that, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. Cars Karma.
Yes.
No doubt.
CARMA. Karma. Did you play pinball?
I went in there, but I did not play the pinball.
Oh, okay.
When you went in there, they gave you a couple tokens.
Yeah.
And by the way, I kept them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I've got 2.
Okay.
So if you'd like one, I'll send you one.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, I just looked at the different ones. I recognized a lot of ones, especially the Pinball Wizard one with Elton John on it.
Yeah.
My best friend and I played the shit out of that machine in the bowling alley. I mean, we played the shit out of that thing. And so that was kind of cool. But it was one of those feelings like, I could take this token and I could start playing this game and I'm probably going to really, really suck and it's going to blow my nostalgia.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, screw it. I'll just look at it and admire it and so forth. And yeah. And then the other one I really remember is the one, the Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
That was a biggie too.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Neck of the woods. Yeah, so it's a good experience. So once again, big shout out, Rock Hall Robin, Springsteen, Bruce.
Wow.
You made the day special for me.
Wow, that's so great. Thank you for taking that picture for me.
You're welcome.
Wow.
I'll let you post that one, okay?
Okay, I'll have to get over it first.
And then
okay, I won't go on about that.
All right, but let's get to our big topic because both of us are very excited about this.
Yes, we are.
We're talking about Turbocharge, the unauthorized story of the Cars.
Yes.
Just to give people some background. And I put a Twitter poll out there to see, in Facebook, to see, who had heard of it before and who had not. And, a lot of the old school hardcores, we've been had interest in this film in the Fanorama for years, and this is like the 10th year. It's 10 years old.
Okay.
This film.
Okay.
And so it's been on our radar, and I can't remember how it came about, but I know that in 2008, Mr. Juskow put a Flash-based website to promote the film, and that's really been all that I've ever known about this film.
Okay.
They had some public screenings in New York, and I know there's a few people in the Fanorama who were able to go. One of them being Big Salad, who walked out,
Love it.
which I find so fucking hilarious that he
So
walked
funny.
out.
I know.
Toxic. So,
How can you not? Okay. I just
but
can't. Go ahead.
the topic is, it comes and goes over the years about this film.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this film is the brainchild of David Juskow. He hosts a popular podcast right now called The Night Fly, which I like to share and promote because I think he's hilarious, from New York. But he's a comic, he's an actor, writer, he's done voiceover work, and I love his ability to do different voices.
Yes.
You catch that a lot on his podcast.
Yes.
And I believe he's mentioned that he works for a law firm now. I don't know in what capacity, but hey, Donna, we may have another ace in our pocket besides Judy.
Now we have a legal team.
We have a legal team here at Night Thoughts.
But honestly, listening to Jessica's podcast, can you imagine him in the role of it? I mean, I'm sure he must not be an attorney, but he's just so irreverent and like, could you imagine working with that guy in an attorney's office?
Yeah, I'd do it. I want him as my attorney. I'll tell you that.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. I just saw my attorney 2 days ago to update my will. God, what a dry asshole my attorney is.
Aww.
Dry asshole. I hate my attorney. I hate him.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, the film, it runs 1 hour, 19 minutes.
Okay.
And it's a parody documentary, a mockumentary. I don't know which. I kind of liken it to Spinal Tap in a way.
Okay. All right.
Of Cars history. And it also, which I love, ties in with the Rankin Bass Christmas specials, Rudolph and The Year Without Santa Claus.
Yes.
So, and I think that's probably what throws people. I don't know. But he, from his, listening to his podcast, he had the idea in the early 80s and finally decided just to make the film in the early 2000s. So he's used a lot of his connections in the comedy community and cast the film, and it's directed by Memo Salazar, who's a buddy of his. And
it is Memo, huh? It's not Memo.
No, it's Memo.
I always read it as Memo.
That's how Dave pronounced it.
Well,
so
he's the authority.
That's what I'm going with.
All right.
But on the site, if you click in there, it says who's behind Turbocharge. I love this. This has a picture of both of them, and it says, "Welcome to Turbocharge, the unauthorized story of the cars. We have spent 4 years of our lives bringing you this film, which is a historical landmark in many ways. It is the first unauthorized biographical film of a rock band narrated by an animated snowman. It's the first period piece covering important events from the Reagan years, such as Live Aid, with costumes and wigs all purchased at 99-cent store. Finally, it's the first successful collaboration between a Jew and a Mexican. A collaboration which we believe will usher in a new era of peace and friendship between these ancient cultures. Shalom and adios."
Jeez.
Yeah, and that's David Juskow right there. So,
yeah.
That's kind of stuff that he does on his podcast.
Yes.
So the way we got to this point, our listeners, is that I followed Juskow on Twitter. And when he devoted some time on his podcast to talking about Turbocharge. So, I began asking him about it, bothering him really, I'll be honest. Say, hey, what's going on? When are you going to get this going? Blah, blah, blah. So finally, long story short, he was nice enough to give me a call and to give me some background on it and gave us permission to feature this film on our episode of Night Thoughts. And he also allowed Donna and I to a private online screening, which we appreciate highly. So we've seen the film.
Yes.
And it's a side note. um, David also sent a copy of the film to Paulina so that Rick could see it. Never heard anything back. I wonder if they ever watched it.
He did that at the time it came out, or recently.
And maybe at the time it came out, because New York people, you see them out about all the time. Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. So there you go. But what would you say that this movie has, or when would you say this movie came to light for you? Because I know you haven't been in the Fanagram as long as I have, not pulling rank or anything, but when did you first hear of it?
Actually, I heard of it from you. You tweeted about it. How did that come about? A few years ago, you tweeted about it and asked me if I had ever heard of it. And then I think you gave me the link to the website. And so I, of course, was, I haven't heard of this. And then we kind of forgot about it for a while. And then I think it came up last year even. It got talked about again. I think somebody found the IMDb page for it. And we're like, what is this? Have you ever heard of this? And I want to say you were in on that conversation, and we were both like, yeah, we've heard of it, but, we've never seen it. Nothing, we can't seem to track down anything. Yeah, it had just blipped again on the radar. And then I kind of forgot about it again. But you definitely have been, I just so appreciate your persistence in
it's always been this thing that's there, but was unattainable to see it. And, the screenings, I remember where people were talking about, oh, I'm going to go to the screen. Well, I'm not going to fly to New York.
Right.
To, go to a screening, especially not in that period of time that they were doing it.
Right.
I was busy, and, I was working on my master's then. But, it's just always just been something that I've wanted to know more about, wanted to see. And so this is kind of a dream come true.
Well, and the website, it just makes you so curious. Like, it's half of like, what the heck, like, makes you grumpy. What are they doing with my cars? And then the other half, like, this looks like it's got to be hilarious. What are they doing? Like, just totally draws you in from both angles. And so, I'm just so thankful that you continue to pursue it, because especially just the idea of it sitting somewhere in a can, it's like, that's not acceptable. Come on.
Yeah. Well, and from my earliest recollections of seeing this, I kind of had the same view as you. Like, this is really interesting. I'm not too sure how to take this.
Yeah.
But now seeing the film, I mean, it's fucking hilarious. It's not just hilarious.
Funny.
It's fucking hilarious, and I love it. I love this film.
I do too.
Why don't you give a rundown of the cast so people know what characters from the Cars history and so forth. I mean, basically, it'll give. I mean, it's not all the cast that's in it, but we've got all the main players in there.
You want me to read the list?
Yeah, would you? Yeah, go for
it. Sure. Okay, so of course there's Rick Ocasek, which they continually pronounce Ocasek. Played by David Juskow. Benjamin Orr is played by a guy named Kevin Cash.
Which I originally had in the show notes as Kevin Nash. If you don't know who Kevin Nash is, he's that big ass wrestler Diesel. I had it in my head. Kevin Nash playing Benjamin Orr.
No. Kevin Cash, who is hilarious, and whose voice sounds like he could have been the voice of Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc.
Yes.
Do you totally agree?
Yeah.
Sometimes when he's exclaiming things, I totally think that it's Mike Wazowski. Okay, Greg Hawkes is played by John Samuel Jordan. Elliot Easton by David Engel, and perfect. I love the guy who plays Elliot. David Robinson is played by Ryan Blackwell. Elliot Roberts is played by H. John Benjamin.
Love that guy.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was until I saw your notes on it.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interject in there. He does voice work for if you watch the cartoon Archer, and also Bob's Burgers.
Nice.
is what he's known for.
Paulina Porizkova is played by Michelle, is it Grassi? Maybe? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Gracie. That's the way I
Gracie?
took it.
Grassi?
Michelle
Gracie?
Gracie.
Okay.
Gracie.
Joshua, who is a fictional character in the Cars history, is played by Rachel Feinstein. I don't know. Do you want me to talk about who Joshua is, or just read this list?
Well, we'll talk about it, Boris.
Okay. Freezy the Snowman is played by Jonathan Katz.
Yep, Dr. Katz.
Pengy,
with Dr. Katz.
Pengy the Penguin by Holly Schlesinger. Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol, I don't know how to pronounce his name either.
Shalhoub.
Shalhoub is played by Tom Shalhoub. Yeah. Dave Attell plays himself.
Yes.
Maxine Sartori is represented by Irene Bremis.
She is a genius.
Love. In her scene. Love. Roy Thomas Baker is played by Adam Felber.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't have it.
Come on. You got to have your RTB impersonation, and you can base it on this performance. It's
spot on?
I don't think so. But I think he does a great job. Freddie kept putting in more Galileos.
And then we had no more headroom. And Rick's going,
Taking notes.
Okay, Candy Moore is played by Brooke Haselton. Mutt Lang is played by Britton Herring. Mutt Lang.
Which, too. When they talk about the 99-cent wigs, I pray that that's a wig. I pray. Please don't let that hair be real.
Oh my gosh, hilarious. Jack Holzman, the head of Elektra Records, is played by Ben Liza.
Awesome.
Diane Gray Page is played by Paula Rhodes. And Timothy Hutton is played by Michael Weingartner.
So creepy. So creepy, that guy.
So you and Rick happy?
Yeah. So what's Turbocharge about? To quote Mr. Juskow, the gag of the movie is how stiff the cars were in concert. That's the gag of the whole movie. So, first off, it's narrated by Freezy the Snowman, which is just like Sam the Snowman in the Rudolph production. And Freezy is telling the little penguin, Pengy, the story of the cars. So it follows the band from the Ocasek or coffee shop days through Cap and Swing and the Cars up until Live Aid in 85.
Well, it actually goes all the way to
Ben. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. It concludes with Live Aid and the band, breaks up and they talk about Benjamin's death and Benjamin being with big people and that kind of thing. So, and I found that very heartwarming, by the way, that Benjamin's death is addressed and in its own little way. This film, gives a nod and kind of the reconciliation, kind of vibe.
Yes, for sure.
So, that's what the movie's about. And, people, first off, you have to realize this isn't a movie that it sticks to timelines and facts and portrays it exactly the way the Cars history did this. And like, for example, our buddy John's head will explode when he eventually sees this movie.
Yes.
He'll be commenting the whole way through. No, that's not the time period, and blah blah blah.
Yes.
And because that's how John's mind works. But this movie has an audience. It's found two people already. Would I shell out $20 to have this flick on DVD? Or like a digital download? You bet your damn ass I would.
Yes, I so would.
Yeah. So, and it says in the end credits, this movie includes fictionalized accounts of actual people and is a work of satire. In case you couldn't guess.
Yeah.
So it's just like our podcast. Some people get upset at that kind of thing, but that's what this movie is. It's satire.
Yeah.
It's making fun of certain things, and the Cars were and are a quirky band, and there are certain things you can make fun of, and this film does it.
Yes. And I had a hard time getting over that. I mean, initially, because I am also a research fact nerd person. So there were, I just had to put myself in that gear of this is not a documentary. And it is so hilarious. So hilarious when I can let that go. Um,
Yeah,
and
I go ahead.
well, I was just going to add to your synopsis, and Jessica, his thrust of the movie, but there's also, sort of the parallel storyline about the competition between Rick and Ben, and Ben's the way that he portrays each person's role in the band, and it's hilarious. It's so hilarious. So
Yeah,
that would definitely be something you'd have to let go of. Going, Ben would have never said that. Ben wouldn't have, no, he probably didn't, or he probably wouldn't, or he may have. Either way, it's hilarious.
yeah, and that's an important point that in order to enjoy this film,
Hmm.
you have to set aside what you know about Rick Ocasek, Benjamin Orr, Elliot Easton, Greg Hawkes, and David Robinson.
Yes.
And you have to accept them as these characters in this film.
Yes.
And Rick being very moody and tortured and Zen-like,
Yes.
and Benjamin being like the eager student and always wanting to get noticed
Hmm.
and not being a ladies' man at all, and you got uh, Elliot Easton. Elliot Easton, doing his thing, and Greg Hawkes is really dweeby, and he kind
Goofy.
of kind of has an edge to him at certain points, and David Robinson just comes off as like this womanizer,
Yes. Yes.
the whole thing. So you have to embrace those characters that they're portraying, and I love each one of the characters in them, especially Benjamin.
He
Kevin
does such a
Cash,
great job.
kudos to you, and David Juskow as well as Rick. Those are my two. Well, I mean, I think they're most spotlighted in the movie, but those are my two favorite characters in the movie, just the way they portray them.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so,
Uh,
and a basic disclaimer to people is that if you're listening to our podcast right now, you know what Donna and I are about, and the kind of stuff that we find humorous and so forth. If you like our podcast, you're going to like Turbocharge. If you like Dave Juskow's podcast, you're going to like Turbocharge. If you're one of those people who has put things in posts about how terrible our podcast is and so forth, you're not going to like Turbocharge. I'm just saying. Don't well, waste your money and find out. But you're just not going to like it. I think you're going to get hung up on it. You have to let go.
yeah.
Let go, which is what we try to do here. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you like about Turbocharge?
Oh my gosh. Well, there are so many little one-liners. Um, I just don't even know if I can quote stuff or not, but
Yeah, we're
um,
we're, we're trying to be non-spoilery here,
yes,
folks. So, I'm a Star Wars guy, and now that we know what this movie's about, and have watched it multiple times, Donna and I are going back and forth with these quotes and stuff. And do we want to give out these quotes? Maybe not, because they're a funny part in the movie, and I kind of liken it to the movie trailer that tells you the story of the whole damn movie, and you're like, why should I see the movie now?
exactly.
Yeah.
And plus,
So
some of it's not, we can say these quotes, but they're not going to be funny for coming from us secondhand.
yeah,
They'll be funny if they actually watch them. One of the things that I was really impressed with and that amused me so much was how many people they represented in the movie. Because you had, okay, so we read the cast list, right? But there were even more people than that. Alan Hunter and Bryant Gumbel, Kenny Loggins, Martha Quinn, Howard Stern. I mean, just that they had characters playing all these different kind of iconic people, and so funny too. They spoofed everybody, and it was hilarious. I love it. Although I did kind of realize, I think, watching the Howard Stern, so in the movie, um, Howard Stern interviews Benjamin, right?
Yes.
I realized that I am your Robin Quivers. All I do is laugh into the microphone at your stupid jokes.
I'll have to make a note of that for the next intro.
I am apparently the Robin Quivers of the show. So that was kind of like a oh moment. But I love that. I love how many people are represented in the little jabs that they get in. So funny.
And I think first and foremost, um, I love the quirkiness of this film and how it fits in with the quirkiness of the cars.
Hmm.
I love the throwback to the Rankin Bass animation that's
Yes.
in. Um, the uh, the hair. I I think there's only like one part. Well, a lot of the ladies, their hair is okay, but as far as the main male characters, I think there's only like one point in the film where any of them has okay hair, and that's Elliot, and that's because it's his natural hair. I don't think he's
Yeah.
wearing hair, but the hair is hilarious. So
So-
bad. You know, and Kevin Cash is wearing that one early in the film. It's like Farrah Fawcett.
yes.
It's just
It's so
fantastic.
great. It's so
Yes,
great.
yeah, and his bass playing is spot on. When they show him playing bass, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes. Well, and I love how he pushes his lips out and tries to make that pouty Benjamin
Yeah,
face.
I love it. I love it. Um, and like I said, Juskow as Rick, I just love his representation of Rick. It's just being, just this
Ah,
kind of just tortured soul and
ethereal.
all bright and yeah, and I love the voice that he does for him. I don't want to do like an impersonation of David Juskow doing an impersonation of Rick Ocasek. It's it's just hilarious, and but the the as far as storyline goes, I love the aspect of Benjamin Orr being, not really a ladies' man, and he's in Rick's shadow, and he's it's it's him trying to get out of that shadow and trying to one up and be be Rick, in a way, or be more than Rick. I just love that aspect of it because he's so goofy about it.
Yes.
Um, there's what's not to love.
Oh
Um,
yeah, when he's totally kissing Mutt Lange's butt,
yeah,
and and it's that in that one interview with Bryant Gumbel. I mean, every question he's like, "Let me field that one. I
yeah,
got that one," which is the exact opposite of every interview you ever
exactly,
see with Benjamin.
exactly. How often do you hear Benjamin Orr talk in an interview? You
Yeah,
know,
let alone volunteering to answer someone else's question.
I think I'll field that one.
Actually, Bryant,
So,
sorry, go
w-
ahead.
without being spoilery, what are your favorite scenes in the movie?
Oh, there are so many. I love, okay, try not to be spoilery. They talk about a little bit about what the guys do during the break when they're between recording albums, and they have Elliot Eastman doing stand-up comedy. It's so funny.
Which is the part that Big Salad walked out on, I might add.
How could you walk out on that? That's so
Obviously, I didn't like that it wasn't true.
So funny, but it's so not true that it's hilarious. Like, obviously, it's not true. And Benjamin in the audience just
Let's
laughing.
let's go back to our disclaimer. If if you're a family member who's uptight of Cars, you're probably not going to like this film.
Right.
You may walk out on it.
That's right.
Even playing in your own home.
Join Big Salad at the coffee shop 2 blocks down. You guys can hash it out. You can vent.
Yeah.
The rest of us will be passing the tissue box around because we'll be laughing so hard we're crying. Oh, when
Well,
Benjamin does that spit take. During Elliot's routine, and Greg's sitting there playing his little Casio keyboard on his little lap.
that's an awesome scene. And speaking of coffee shop, the coffee house scene with Ocasek and Moore.
You guys stink.
Yeah, so awesome. So awesome.
So awesome. Oh, and then of course, the whole Live Aid, the whole way that that plays out. Well, because the storyline about them being so stiff on stage and stuff, and so they're going to redeem themselves at Live Aid.
Yeah.
And just how that does not work out as they plan.
See, and that's where Juskow nails it, because when I was talking to him and he told me, that it goes up and through Live Aid and the whole Phil Collins jet fiasco and so forth.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, because that's a thing with Cars fans.
Yes.
It is a thing. We're bitter about it. So yeah, make fun of it.
It was our best show ever. Greg.
Nobody saw.
Greg, when they're going down the hall to get back to he's skipping and he looks like a 5-year-old. He's so like, yeah.
No.
That's one of my other scenes. Well, going back, I mean, the beginning of that part of the storyline when they're supposed to be in Germany and Elliot Roberts is telling them the critics are not liking their stage presence. And so then you get that ominous like bad boy music and they're like, oh, remember? So then they work in that other thing that we've read about the Cars, that the most wild they got about trashing hotels and stuff was putting pictures askew.
Yeah, they politely trashed the hotel room. which David Robinson, what he does in that scene cracks me up every time. And then Greg is like,
yes,
it's the capper on the whole thing. So yeah, awesome. There's the part in there that's a montage that I love, and also ties in what we're going to talk about next with the music of Turbocharge. But that montage of them going through the Candy-O era and recording with RTB and up to Panorama. I love that montage of them doing different things and so forth.
And when RTB just rips Ben a new one about his vocal. I love that. And you can barely hear Ben behind the glass. He's going off at it.
No, I'm not going to do it again.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So funny.
That is one of those quotes for what RTB says that I have to memorize and learn, because it's classic.
I know. I totally was just thinking that. I wanted to quote it, but I was like, I can't remember exactly what he says. I got to get that one down.
Another scene that I really like is the Holtzman Electra backlash over Panorama, and
yes,
the gentleman who plays Jack Holtzman, Ben Lisa, I think it is.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy's awesome, and he plays the heavy, just nails it. But it's the way he's interacting with Elliot Roberts. I love that scene.
First of all, what does he say?
It's a rhetorical question. Yeah.
And second,
Shut the hell up.
Are you high? A little.
So yeah, I love that scene, and it's great because it follows the montage scene. It goes right up to it, so it's pretty cool.
Well, and of
So
course
that's all my favorite.
it addresses the whole idea that panorama, the panorama was not accepted well by the critics, and so that's the thing. There's a lot of little truisms. There's a lot of
Yes.
things that woven through there that are definitely things in the Cars world, but they just either exaggerate it or put such a spin on it that you just can't help but laugh. It's so funny.
Yeah. Well, and that's another one of the things that I really like about this film is that all those things that we've talked about as fans over the years, they pop up in this film, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, oh great that they included that, and so forth. And I mean, like, yeah, I would never would have thought that they would have anything about Cap and Swing in this film, and they do, or anything about
Maxanne. Yeah,
so,
she's awesome.
So, and hey, a good segue. We're going to play some audio from that scene with Maxanne about the evolution of the Cars changing their name from Cap and Swing to the Cars. So, Donna, why don't you go ahead and roll that, and then we can come back and we can talk more in depth about that after people have heard it.
Okay, here we go.
Do you know these guys? Can you visualize them?
No.
Captain Swing, as the boys now called themselves, was ready to tackle the potholes on the road to rock and roll stardom.
Why won't you manage us?
Oh, please.
You have such good ideas.
Then why don't you listen to me?
I always listen.
Well, then why is Benjamin still just standing around? I told you he should be playing like an instrument or something.
He says he doesn't want to in case he gets the motivation to dance.
I've not ever seen him move. In fact, you guys, none of you move. You just stand there. You gotta jazz up your stage show, man. You gotta get David here to drum for you. You need him. He adds pizzazz to everything he touches.
Thank you.
Benjamin needs to start playing an instrument. And third, and you're not gonna like this, Rick, okay? But you gotta change the name of the band to something a little more catchy, a little more hooky. Seriously, come on, Cap and Swing? What the fuck? The hottest bands have simple names. The Doors, The Who, Kansas, Chicago, yes?
Or Boston, my personal favorite.
He's right, man. Boston's kicking it all over the world with their roots planted firmly at home.
So, what are you saying, that I should change the name of the band to Baltimore?
What? I don't understand.
That's where I'm from.
I thought you were from here.
No, I'm from Baltimore.
Hey, Elliot.
Hey, Maxie. Rick.
He says he doesn't want to play an instrument in case he gets to dance.
Yeah.
And you're right. Oh, his voice of Rick. Oh my gosh.
I should change the name to Baltimore? What? What? What are you talking about? And that scene goes on. It's even more hilarious, the part that's not in there about possible names for the Cars. But yeah, I love that. In case he gets the motivation to dance.
Dance.
So in that, the voices you heard in that were Maxanne, and David was in there, of course, Rick, and then coming up at the end, that was Elliot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah. It's so funny.
I love it.
So there's the other thing I like about this, which is I think was maybe, I mean, it wasn't a thing in 2008 when they made this film, was the post-credit scene. You know, credits start going, and then there's a scene, and then more credits, and then I think there's even there's a scene at the very end, like 2 post-credit scenes.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And they're a little, that one scene is a little bit confusing, but funny.
It's I love it.
Yeah. I wonder if it was a deleted scene.
A deleted scene, or a flashback. Yeah,
Yeah, because
but
it's kind of
it
in
is
the
the
middle there.
breakup scene of the band.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's funny to me played that way, the
Hmm.
way it's played.
Interesting. I guess
So
I'll have to
let's
watch it again. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so the music of Turbocharge. Let me go down the list of musicians that played in this. First of all, you've got some Cars instrumentals that are in there. You got an instrumental of "Hello Again," "Since You're Gone," "Up and Down" is in
Nice.
there, and I'm assuming that all of these were performed by the same band. I know for a fact "Hello Again" was played by The Argument, the band The
Yes.
Argument, and
Yes.
that's in the end credits. And if that sounds familiar to you, people who have the CD, the tribute to the Cars, Substitution, Mass Confusion,
Mm-hmm.
the Argument does "Hello Again" on that CD.
Nice.
You also have Eric Barrow and the Cautions that are in there, and Eric does well. He worked on and helped with "How Did You Do It," which we'll talk about in a minute. But he also did some of the other helped out with some of the other music
He was
in
kind
the
of in
film.
charge, wasn't he, in charge of the musical score?
Yeah, I would say in a way, for lack of not knowing the terms and so forth. But
Yeah.
the Cautions did the song "Night Spots" on that Substitution Mass Confusion CD. So that's how I became aware of the Cautions. But "Coffee Shop Girl," which is in the film at the beginning of the film,
Yes.
is one of those songs that really stood out to all the Cars fans. Um, but that CD, Substitution Mass Confusion, I looked that up today to see how readily available that is. It
Yeah.
is not. It
Yeah.
is Not Lame Records is gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're kaput, and you can still find it like on Amazon and eBay, but you're going to pay anywhere between like $35 to $75.
Yeah. I think I picked mine up. It was it over 20? It was maybe like 25. I ended up spending I thought it was kind of steep, but I needed to do it. And so yeah, I finally got my copy, but it's
Yeah,
hard to come by.
you got a bargain.
Yeah.
But so Coffee Shop Girl's in there. Anne Marie is listed in the credits. I have yet to figure out where this song is, and I'm figuring maybe it's like it's in the background somewhere.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But hey, make sure you pick up the Cautions EP, which you can find digitally. I think it's very hard to find on CD, but you can find their CD called "Proceed with the Cautions." You can still get that on eBay and Amazon.
Nice.
But the new music that I discovered is Rick Henriksen, and Rick Henriksen does the music for that montage that I was talking about earlier, and that's a song called "Cool Dry Place."
Yes.
And then there's another scene where it's Benjamin with Big People, and the song that Benjamin is singing during that scene is "While She Whistles Wiley," which is another awesome song. I picked up the whole CD, and man, I love this CD. It's called "Reaching for a Gun."
Yes.
Great CD. I can't find anything more about Rick Henriksen. I don't know what's happened to him or so forth, but they were like touting him as the next Springsteen when he first came out. But I love those songs and love that whole album.
Yeah, it's a good CD.
Yeah. And then the biggie on here, the big name on here is Frank Stallone with the "Far From Over" song, which David said that he got the rights to use from Frank Stallone for I think he said $100. He's
Okay.
like, oh, yeah, $100 you can use it, okay? But it's arranged and performed by Eric Barrow and sung by Juskow. So they used the song and then did their own thing to it, and that is during the scene that is you can see on the website, which is the Cars going to dance class to learn how to move.
So hilarious.
And the song makes it even more hilarious.
Yeah.
Because that song was originally in Flashdance.
Yes, I think so. That's what it makes me think of anyway. I'm assuming that's where it's from.
So here you go. Have you had a chance to listen to the Rick Hendrickson CD?
I have, yes. I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
It has probably, I'm going to say 3 or 4 songs that are really up-tempo, like Cool Dry Place and While She Whistles Wiley. Mm-hmm. And the rest of it, the only thing I can describe it as is it reminds me a lot of Jonathan Richman from Something About Mary.
Yes, yes.
Songs. Oh, man, it's just incredible CD.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I'm glad I got turned on to that.
Yeah.
The other big song in the movie is How Did You Do It? And if you go back and listen to David Jeskow's podcast, I'm not sure what episode it is, but it's called The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Love, Actually the Cars. And you can find that on iTunes and SoundCloud. But go to that episode, and that's when he plays this song, How Did You Do It? And talks about how he came about doing this song. He was very influenced by Tonight She Comes and You Are the Girl. And so you get those little car-isms, I guess you could say, in the song. And that's what he was trying to emulate.
Oh, you can definitely hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard this song many, many, many times, obviously on the website, because when you go to the website and it first starts up, the song plays in the background. If you click on something else, you'll lose the song. So if you're visiting the Turbocharge website, which is, by the way, turbochargethemovie.com. I don't think I mentioned that yet. Don't click anything. Listen to the whole song. It'll start out with Freezy saying "Happy Birthday," and then the song starts. So, and I like this song.
Yeah, I do too.
It's better than my Peace song that, that we debuted.
That was pretty good.
The thing about it is the lyrics are so Rick Ocasek. Yes,
very much.
You got things in there about eclectic pride and Medusa stare.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Gives me a fright.
Gives me a fright. It's not the curls in your hair.
Yes.
Rick's got a thing about hair.
He does.
Let's face it.
He pays attention to it.
He pays a lot of attention to it. So one of the other things that Mr. Juskow gave us permission to do was to play this song on our pod. So we're going to do that in its entirety and give you a listen to it if you haven't heard it before. So and I guess we should preface this by saying this is a song that they play when in the movie, Donna? I'm testing you.
During Live Aid?
During the Live Aid. Yeah, this is their Live Aid song. So even if you watch the movie, you don't really get to hear the song that much because you're not paying any attention to the cars. It's all Phil Collins' jet.
And Martha Quinn and the other guy.
So it's kind of a shame because this song really rocks, and yet David himself puts it in the background in his own film.
Yes.
It's even more funny. So, so just give that a spin and let the people hear that one.
Okay, here we go.
She was a talented girl, just turned 18. And when she dressed up nice, she wore her blue jeans. No one could tame her shrew, but all of you tried. And when you took yourself with your eclectic pride, it's all the blue that you wear. It's not the curls in your hair. With that Medusa stare you gave me a fright. Well, she turned her wicked ways into her lifestyle, and she woke up in that steel turnstile. It's all the blue that you wear. It's not the curls in your hair. With that Medusa stare you gave me a fright. How did you do it? How did you know? You know how to press the buttons that make me go. And when the feeling fades behind your eyes, how did you do it? How did you know? You know how to press the buttons that make me go. And when the feeling fades behind your eyes, it's true. Oh, how did you do it? How did you know? You know how to press the buttons that make me go.
So there you go. There's how did you do it? God, I love that song.
It's so great, and it's so Cars. You know what I mean? It's perfect because it's like the movie in that it's enough Cars that you can see it's a tribute to the Cars, but he's got his own Juskow spin on it so that it's funny. And
he's doing the Rick vocals at the she was a talented girl, and he talks about that on his podcast. Yeah, I'm saying I'm doing the Rick thing. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely channeling his inner Okasik.
She turned her wicked ways. Yeah, love it.
Oh my gosh, so good. You know, one of my other favorite scenes is the whole filming of Hello Again.
Yes.
The Andy Warhol guy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah, he's spot on. And that whole scene about calling each other on the phone.
And trying to get him to lip sync.
Yes. You know, when that video came out, I was like, what the fuck, Warhol? Can't you, is it supposed to be like that? What? I don't know. I don't think he could do it, Donna. I'll be honest with you.
And when they're like, every idea, they're like, we should have a shirt. It should say something on it. What should it say? And they all stare off into space.
I'm thinking of Jell-O. What should the Jell-O say? Wow.
And when one of them, like the third time someone suggests hello, it was a David, and then they're all like pausing, and then Warhol's finally like, I like it, and they're all like, oh, Sheil.
It's Warhol.
Oh my gosh! And then Ben, of course, loses it. So funny.
It's very, very cool that scene is in the movie, because when you see the making of Hello Again, that MTV little thing, that's what the interviews are like. They're painful.
It's exactly what his Andy Warhol is spot on to the way he like leaves his mouth hanging open and just that vacant stare.
It's like they're all taking a nap and Alan Hunter woke them up, and then they started interviewing them.
Oh my God, the best Warhol I've ever seen. This so great. And how Rick is like with RTB, Rick is like, just like in awe, taking it all in. Oh, I'm connecting with you on some cerebral level. So hilarious. Oh my goodness. Oh man. And I think, did I already say this? It's one of those movies that you have to watch it more than once to really pick up all of the little one-liners and nuances. Oh, and then were we going to mention Josh? We read
Joshua
in the cast list.
Yeah, played by Rachel. It's fine.
Rachel
Feinstein.
Feinstein.
I'm not sure. Sorry, Rachel, if you happen to be listening. Yeah, she also plays the girl at the Shake It Up party.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I saw the credits.
Okay.
And David's trying to hit on her.
Of course.
Yeah,
when he's like, "You like cars?
You're a cars girl." Yeah.
What's your favorite car? She says, I have to quote it. She's like, "A Jeep," and he's like, "Yeah, not a car."
Not a girl. She does Joshua, and she does this character Joshua on YouTube, so you can like look up Joshua.
Oh, she does?
Yeah. But yeah, Joshua. The way the thing the story goes is that Ben starts seeing Diane Gray, and this is her son. She has a son,
An 8-year-old.
and named Joshua, and so Joshua comes along with him to the Mutt Lang meeting.
Because Ben is always required to babysit him.
Yes, and like they do a deal with win, lose, or draw with Josh, and man, it's funny. And Joshua, really sucking up to Paulina, and
yes, and of course he's a super intelligent, precocious kid.
yes.
So he's got to get his jabs in there. Oh my gosh, so funny.
It's a nice added touch to the whole thing.
And yes, it's completely false. So
nobody
needs to freak out about if Diane actually had an 8-year-old son.
Had a kid. Yeah, and when I first watched it, I thought that Ben was hooking up with the girl from the Shake It Up album cover, which I can Mary something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I thought. And then when I saw the credits, okay, I get it now. So that's that's cool too. But yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Little subplot in there.
So funny.
If you want some more info about Turbocharge, I already said you can go to turbochargethemovie.com. It's a Flash-based website, which means if you go on there on your phone, it's not gonna pull up. Our phones don't pull up Flash. You'll have to go on a laptop or a desktop. You have to have the latest version of Flash installed on your computer. So I'll give you that forewarning. But they have clips available on the site. There's also one clip on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what clip it is, but I'll post that link. And then, of course, David Juskow's podcast about Turbocharge. I will post that link in our Facebook group as well.
Perfect.
So, our plans.
Well, what are David's plans? Did you already talk about that? About what he's?
Oh yeah. Well, his plans for Turbocharge is to looking to get it released, and I would think it's going to be released digitally on iTunes or some other way online. And I know he realizes that this is the year to do it.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years, but of course with the cars being in the Rock Hall and so forth. So he's on it. He has someone who's on it, and this was just kind of a part of our whole conversation was that in knowing the Fanorama and knowing what we can do as a podcast, what we can do as a Facebook page, what we can do as a Twitter page to help promote Turbocharge, to get its audience, and to give Mr. Juskow a reason to release it.
Right.
So our game plan on this is to start promoting it, and especially when he gets the film available for mass consumption, we'll be actively promoting it.
Yeah.
So the other part of that is that I'm going to be making a Turbocharge Facebook page. We don't have everything worked out on that yet, but when it goes live, I'll be posting that link as well.
Awesome.
So hopefully we can do some things for this awesome movie that we've waited 10 years to see. And once again, David, I sincerely appreciate that you let Donna and I have our own private screenings of the film. I don't regret it. I don't regret bugging you now, as a matter of fact, after seeing it. Love it. So, if anything, you found two people who really, really love this film.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, David Juskow and David Curry.
So, midnight scroll time, Donna.
Ooh, okay, yes.
We've got some people who can type,
Yay!
which I am so impressed with. I believe you have 2, and I have 1. And I'm also going to check while you're reading to see if we have any more. If anybody tweeted us, because I sent out a tweet this morning, we'll just kind of check that out.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead with that old midnight scroll intro,
Okay.
And then we will get it going.
All right, here we go.
Take me apart 'cause I'm out of control. Send me a letter on a midnight scroll.
All right, and Dave, I actually have 3. One of these isn't something that was sent into the email, but a comment on my blog that I wanted to read.
Oh, okay.
Can I start with that?
Why don't you just do? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you tell me what to do. Because you can do 2 and I can do 2.
No, you can do 3. It's all right.
Okay. Well, this is from my blog, and it says, "Hi, Dave and Donna." This was a comment on our podcast episode 33. Happy Podiversary. Really loved this episode. It was so much fun to listen to. I think Dave was so right on. To get you thinking about writing a book about the cars. I hope you do someday. I think you would do an awesome job, and I would love to read it. As far as the podcast about Benjamin, I could talk about him for hours as well, and would love to hear him being talked about. I love your site so much because it's a place I can go that's all about Ben and the cars. I don't have anyone in my world that I can go on about Ben to. I rely on your site, YouTube, and Pinterest to get my fix. I don't Facebook. Let's see if he's. Thank you for all you do to keep your site awesome and fun. As far as Dave and his pop culture podcast, I could talk about Gilligan's Island for hours too. Loved that show growing up. I bet I would win hands down in a trivia game. I'd love to know what Dave's favorite episode was.
That sounds like a challenge.
It does, doesn't it? Clubber Lang. I'd love to. She says, I'd love to know what Dave's favorite episode was. Mine was Ghost a Go-Go.
Ghost a Go-Go, which I'm assuming is the one where the guy's dressing up like a ghost on the island. Mine will always be the episode with the mosquitoes. Bingo, Bango, Bongo, and Irving.
What the heck?
You've never seen that episode?
I probably have. You know what? My kids have DVDs, the Gilligan's Island.
Oh, that's
DVDs.
right. Yeah.
And so they watch them, but I can't. I don't have a lot of endurance for that show. So I've seen some of it. It's funny, but yeah, none of it's committed to memory. So
you see, I have a lot of fond memories about Gilligan's Island because this was the one show that, as a kid, I could watch with my dad, and he and I would just laugh our asses off. I'd laugh at it because I was a kid. He's probably laughing at me laughing at it, but my dad thought Bob Denver was hilarious. So
yes, well, I can sing the song. I mean, I'm not going to. But
well, everybody can sing the song then.
Well, so that was from our friend Sherry. Thank you, Sherry, for writing in. And I have a feeling now that Dave will be constructing a Gilligan's Island trivia quiz for you to take with him. Oy. All right.
Next one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This is from our superfan Judy. And yeah.
She's not just a superfan.
Oh.
She is our lawyer.
Yes, our superfan and legal counsel, Miss Judy. And she says, "Hiya, kids. Thanks to Katrina for her scroll on what it's like to be a bassist lead singer. I found her comments about Benjamin's prior years of guitar playing, giving him a leg up, to be very interesting. That jives with comments Michelle Berg has made in the Benjamin Orr Remembered Pages album, reviewing his instruments. In her intro to 1983, Michelle also noted that Benjamin appeared to prefer basses with slender necks, in all likelihood because of his guitar background." Katrina also said she's a bass player for a band called the Debutantes. I tried to find their music online, but mostly found info about earlier groups called Debutantes. I hope she lets us know when/if they post any of their music or when they have gigs. Also, it looks like Katrina and her band may be from Rhode Island. If so, I could easily hop over from Connecticut to see them play. Now, about Fandango. Dave's guesses about Alberto Fandango and wearing an ombrero are interesting. The Fandango I was referring to is a WordPress blogger who has a sense of humor that reminds me of Dave. He also mentions his wife and granddaughters occasionally. I had forgotten, however, that he also mentions he's retired. Had I remembered that, I would have realized he's not Dave.
That's why she asked, "Are you Fandango?"
Yeah,
Okay, I got
yeah.
it.
Now it's all coming clear. So thanks, Judy. I love those kind words for Katrina. Hopefully we'll get her to post some stuff.
And I'm still Fandango. I'm clueless.
Oh,
I'm
you are.
clueless and worthless. That's for sure.
Aw.
All right. Well, hey, our other super fan wrote in.
Yeah? BB?
Yep.
Hey.
Brett Bassel. BB.
Nice. BB.
BB Basilica.
Big boy Brett.
That's what he has in the subject line.
Does
he? BB Basilica.
I love it. Love it.
He says, "Hi D&D. You got the name I can't pronounce." Rick Ocasek has had 4 or more different pronunciations made on his last name. Oh, don't I know that too on my last name. I never once heard him correct anyone. I have the same issue. So, during the episode 21.2, you both had the same going on with my last name. Donna said BB and it stuck. Much like Townsend has credited Richards for the windmill move. Much like Townsend's credited Richards for the windmill move. And he doesn't remember. I believe it's historic. Now, seriously, the longest running podcast about the Cars, Donna gave me the new signature. Donna is also directly responsible for rebooting my last CD, too. Yes. And Dave, I'm forever in debt. Oh, wow, this is really nice, Brent. And Dave, I'm forever in debt for you even listening to me and sharing my music. This is the only show where the talent is equal. Well, I don't know about that, Brett. And total 50-50 balance. There's no Oates, not a Garfunkel, just D&D. Yes, I agree.
Like that.
We are the opposites that meld together.
Perfect fit.
And for the record, I'm not a copper ball used in weaponry. But it sounds like a line for Rick. I'm not your copper ball. Okay, I love it.
I love it.
I'm not your copper ball. Ball.
Ball.
Sincerely, your super fan, BB. All right,
love
BB.
it. Love it.
BB is sticking.
Yes,
thanks, Brett.
I love
Appreciate
it. I'm sending Brett Huckleberry Taffy this week.
Are you really?
I am.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. Anything else?
So you have one more? Or is that it?
Do I? Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad. Okay, this is from Donna. Her name is Donna. Hi, Donna and Dave.
Is this real?
It's real. This is not from me. Hi, Donna and Dave. I'm still loving your podcasts. I like your album dissections and wondered if I could throw in my 2 cents for Panorama. I just got... Oh, the end.
The end. Sorry, Donna.
All right.
Go.
I just got the expanded edition and I'm liking it a lot. Maybe it's just me, but every time I listen to it, it makes me think of West Side Story. It's just sort of a tone and vibe at different places throughout the whole album. One thing is Ben's attitude, and there are Elliot's bits that are so good that I just wish they would go on longer. But especially it's the way Greg adds in his parts. They're great. Like Misfit Kid makes me think of Something's Coming. And Running to You could totally be in West Side Story. If you get to do the part 2 interview with Greg, maybe you could ask him, was he feeling kind of Jets and Sharks? Though you probably have your own questions lined up. Haha. Thanks for your great podcast that make me laugh out loud. From Donna.
That's interesting because I can't remember if I brought this up before, but it's not online anymore. But there used to be a page that was syncing up albums with different movies. And they had Candy-O synced up to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I've heard of that, yes.
Yeah. And they called it like Planes, Trains, Automobiles, and Candy-O or something like that. And I tried it, and it works, for the most part. But the album has to run again too, though. The album is obviously not as long as the film. So it makes me wonder if she's alluding to the fact that if you played Panorama and watched West Side Story, if the songs don't fit with what you're seeing on the screen, we could start something here, Donna.
You certainly could.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. When she said that I totally agree with her that the attitude and the tone of the Panorama album would be a good fit for that. I totally see that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Interesting. And you know the thing about Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz.
Yes, you told me about that when you were convinced that was that when you told me about the Mana? I think that's when you told me that. Because I was like, what? When you said that about the Pink Floyd, I was like, that's not a thing. What are you talking about? And you're like, I'm serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
What people
Benny
do.
Hill with You Are the Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And Mana for
With
Panorama.
Panorama, that's
they
right.
Fit. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's incredible, all right. Something else.
It
Oh.
just fits. All right. So there we go. Episode
Yay.
35, people. It was a great one. I enjoyed this one.
We've been wanting to do this one for a long time.
Yep.
So that's fun.
So once again, many thanks to David Juskow for letting us spotlight his film.
Yes.
And hopefully we can get something going with this.
Yes.
Donna, where can people find you?
Oh, come find me on Twitter.
Huckleberry Magazine, June 1989.
Oh my gosh. Please come find me on Twitter. Dave, I had better not see a graphic.
You know what? I'm holding up my Scout's honor sign. I will not make a graphic of you as Miss Huckleberry.
Thank you. Jeez. I forget sometimes that I have to elicit promises like that from you for everyone to hear.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Huckleberry. Tell people what they
come find me on Twitter at Sweet Purple June, or you can find me on Facebook. I have a page called Benjamin Orr Sweet Purple June. I also write a blog about Benjamin Orr and the Cars called www.sweetpurplegune.wordpress.com. Come find me.
And soon to have a major book publishing deal for the history of the Cars. I'm predicting it right now.
Hashtag hopes and dreams.
Yes, hopes and dreams. Of course, you people, you know where to find me. I don't think people are looking for me, but you can find me on Twitter. I'm going under the handle of @night_spots. And once again, follow our podcast Twitter.
Yep.
At the Cars Podcast.
Yes.
It's a separate entity. And, look us up on Facebook. Night Thoughts, the Cars Podcast.
Yep.
There's nothing out there that's named Night Thoughts, the Cars Podcast. We'll pop up somewhere for sure.
That's us.
All right. So we will have our next episode. I believe our next episode, we're going to continue with the album dissections, and I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Yes.
So, maybe we don't do them out of order. Wouldn't that piss people off?
I couldn't do it.
Just go. They did the debut. They did Candy-O. Then what the fuck? They did Door to Door.
My head would explode. I would not be able to have a conversation about Door to Door at this point. I have to go Panorama.
Even worse, they did debut, Candy-O, and Rick's 4th solo album.
Oh.
Which we need to delve into.
We do. Yeah, we have that on our list to look individually at solo stuff. Yeah.
Got to get into the Rick stuff.
Oh,
all right. So that wraps us up.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it. Donna, take us out.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Hey, greetings to you, my podcast friends. Hey, it's me, your old pal Rico. Night Thoughts, the Cars Podcast, is not directly affiliated with the Cars or Randall Records. So please don't end up swimming with the fishes. Here's how the whole thing goes down. Under Section 107 of the fucking Copyright Act of 1976, we got some fair use rights here. Like busting people's balls over things we don't like, telling you how shit went down, teaching you schmo something new, and digging up dirt about the most fantastical band in the world, the Cars. You know how fair use is permitted by copyright statute and might other infringe on other fucking rights? Yeah, it's like that! The fact we don't make no money, we record this podcast for personal use, and teach you stuff so you're not a fucking moron, tips the balance of our podcast shenanigans in favor of fair use. So there you have it. Capiche?